Very understandable. Very understandable. Except for the fact that transgender people are in the process of which we are bringing about a revival of actual racists, sexists, transphobic people and Islamophobic people, because I survived being called transphobic. I survived having Nazis send spiders to my house. Person, a heterosexual cis person, and say, oh, well, you're transphobic because you aren't interested in someone who is in the middle of trans... Shit. Moralistic shit who got fucking branded a fucking transphobic because people didn't fucking... The trans community that basically decided I was transphobic, they have, you know, fell apart was because of transphobic arseholes in that group, right? And the fact that nobody cares, except for when they, you know, think it's transphobic, or indeed sexist as fuck, which, you know, that was supposedly used as an argument for why I'm a transphobic piece of shit, was that when I created my new group as a life raft for people from arsehole, that I am open and honest when I am transphobic, when I have been apparently transphobic, when I have, because you're transphobic and you'll piss off people. I'm sorry? Did we just let transphobic arseholes set the tempo for fucking conversations? And suddenly you're a transphobic piece of shit. You know, like, I should just never ever do it. I should never want to seem more racist, more sexist, and more transphobic to annoy people because they think it's funny, and in the process of which I have written an example of how I am transphobic. I do not begrudge you wanting a safe space. I do not begrudge you having to let this place be over here for the transphobic people, for the racist people, and we're going to be over here being safe. But the moment someone says, hey, you're anti-Semitic, hey, you're transphobic, you're supporting oppression, right? Then, right, the reason I made this video and copped to the fact that someone thinks I'm transphobic is that, yeah, if you are someone, you know, being accused of transphobia in the first place, well, no, it was part of why. I don't know the other part of why, I just know it's not with regards to those situation, transphobic, trans-ignorant, or whatever the, you know, the term is. Probably just made a transphobic slur. That's probably what he meant. And yeah, we know this, he's a dick. And you see over here, yes, he's actually also transphobic because of X, Y, and Z that we aren't going to probably explain. And you know, please, Laura, delete this thread accusing me of being transphobic. Whether it was right or wrong, the moment that this was goodies versus baddies, that this was trans people versus the transphobic people. To abort the racists, are you? To abort the transphobic? Well, see, this person has got a gene, meaning that they sense. From the moment this whole thing blew up about, oh, I might be transphobic, that there was more going on, meaning that they're likely to be a transphobic arsehole, so they're not going to be allowed to go to term. Bunch of racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic cunts. But I genuinely think that if I did completely become an alt-right, then some privileged white boy comes up questioning their identity, if not being outright transphobic, and they get annoyed when trans people... Transphobic arseholes set the tempo for fucking conversations. Yeah? Did we just set transphobic arseholes who are fine with the murdering? Yeah, if you're gonna
say transgender shit because you're transphobic cunts, then yeah, fire it at me because I'm not actually
There was this whole thing about how I was supposedly transphobic and I had been kicked from this group. And this group
to lose sleep at night. Because I don't want to be a transphobic monster. Because I don't want to be a sexist monster. Because it wouldn't as an explanation for why I'm transphobic. And that I'm not actually transphobic. I may be deeply trans-ignorant, and I may have deeply offended people, and individual persons can be misogynistic, racist, transphobic, cunty in all the various ways, but when trans people say, hey dude, you're a transphobic piece of shit, when women say, hey, to certain people who regard themselves as feminists or whatever, see me as basically a misogynistic, transphobic arsehole. So, Parliament. The arseholes, the transphobic cunts, the people that you need to be on your side, the people that you need to be listening to, people being persecuted because transphobics think they deserve to suffer. Why are black people being shot? It's just me being a sort of passively transphobic bigot, right? The fact that I am looking at someone and I don't... The more dangerous person is the politician. The transphobic arsehole, the racist arsehole, the person who thinks that autism, there was no criticism. There was no constructive criticism. There was just, you're a transphobe, fuck off.
I do experience transphobic comments, and the comments, whilst they are insulting me.
Person, this is a fanfic about trans stuff. You're a transphobic piece of shit, fuck you. Of reasons that I was, judged to be, transphobic. I don't know in depth, so I don't... The whole thing with, being called transphobic, and essentially the evidence being a piece of my writing that we're saying, you transgender people, you react when people are transphobic. How dare you? And they were having a... Says is, oh, someone's gonna get banned, but it's not gonna be the transphobic person. Know the other part of why. I just know it's not just the writing. I'm just kind of a transphobic shit as well. I just don't know why, so I can't.
There are feminists out there who are transphobic, who are genderphobic, who are gender fluid phobic, who are against.
Asking, so what should I do if I see someone being transphobic? And the trans people are like, you stick up and you say something, you educate of the earth. They think I'm Satan incarnate. They think I'm a transphobic cunt because I wrote some dodgy stuff in a fanfic, because then she just goes, boom, public post, boom, you're transphobic, fuck you. And then because of various things that were happening, was the whole big thing of how dare you, transphobic people need to be harassed, and they need to be they need to
hated by both fucking sides, like, I'm a transphobic piece of shit and I'm a fucking leftist, faggot piece of shit.
I'm gonna create a group so that you're safe from the people who are being transphobic towards you. But she said she wanted them.
That was, well, they already think I'm a transphobic piece of shit, whatever, like.
Who is at the head of this group, I'm transphobic. If I walk in those doors, I'm gonna be bullied. Because I realised that saying you're bisexual is basically saying, yeah, I'm a transphobic idiot. Because it's essentially saying, I will only go with self. You can write all your essays about how I'm a transphobic piece of shit. I don't care. But make sure that my friends are
marked out as transphobic, called out against a person that I fucking greatly admire, which admittedly is basically the feminist perspective, right? The feminist transphobic perspective. Then, therefore, you shouldn't be annoyed when people are using transphobic slurs. The kind of expected horrendously transphobic jokes of like, there's the man about to sleep with the transgender woman. Coming to terms with the fact that what I did, that I was transphobic. Like, I genuinely, I was, and it wasn't just very pro kicking the heads in of transphobic people. I get that. I understand that. That's what they want to do. You know, if they, include this in my fetish fiction was kind of part of the whole great reason I'm a transphobic monster thing. So that, a lot of trans people have decided I'm a transphobic bastard. I do actually give a shit about a lot of trans people, and defending the guy for being transphobic despite the fact that I essentially pulled the transphobia issue, because like with the accusation that I was transphobic, there was nothing I could do, right? As all these algorithms are like, hey, this guy did a really transphobic thing once because he was a fucking moron. Everybody, people that I had considered friends, turned around and said that I was a transphobic monster, and like that's what's been people created by a bunch of transphobic motherfuckers, right? It's like, well, you're the only people that these people seem to like a drug can enable the body to change its sexual characteristics. You're so transphobic, right? Like obviously, up in arms about me calling me transphobic and what have you, because like, no, you're wonderful, beautiful people, and you deserve. And in case you've forgotten, this is me, Mr. Transphobic, saying, hey guys, right? There are already people that see me as transphobic, that see me as sexist, that see me as dangerous, right?
Everyone that you listen to, this great community that you turn to, basically erupt in transphobic sentiment. It's just like, oh,
the feminists coming for my blood and the whole, oh my god, you're transphobic thing. The sort of the culmination. I can't say, oh sorry, I made a mistake, because once someone is labeled transphobic, they gotta go, they gotta burn. Out thinking, people are gonna call me transphobic, people are gonna call me transphobic. But I had to sleep. I had to sleep. And things were. This is Total Biscuit saying, if you are going to be transphobic, if you are going to be someone who I wrote this blog and I made a video saying, so just so you know, I've been called transphobic. And evidently not bully people who are transphobic, then you are part of the problem. Because that was what was being said on the thread, right? He's saying here is actually, seen as quite transphobic, because it's like, he's a cis guy saying he would experiment if he had the technology. Have been raged at, have been used as examples of why I'm a transphobic cunt. And so I would like to ask, like, that's a fucking weird thing to do if you're really transphobic and you hate trans people. I'm going to create a group so that you'll call me sexist or misogynistic or anti-Semitic or transphobic or what have you, right? Nice time sending transphobic comments time after time after time and calling me a fat ugly girl. Well, I know that there are always going to be people who see me as transphobic, and so it's almost like at this point,
I don't fear.
Woman. Oh, you've got tits. Oh, you've got tits. You're a woman. Her. You're a transphobic. Her. Let me give you a detailed description of what I think your genital.
This is evil. You know, you are transphobic. That's it. We're gonna flay you alive now.
Find the fact that I was, you know, accused of being called transphobic. They're gonna no doubt find the, you know, the times when I said shitty things. I don't, right? I give a shit, right? I give a shit. You know, transphobic, transgender people, they face. Admitting that you've been called transphobic gets you friends in low places.
That was a very poor choice of words there, since there are genuinely transphobic feminists. Jermaine Greer.
But yeah, that's the thing that happened. I might be a transphobic arsehole. I don't think it's as simple as that. Because, you know, just kind of a transphobic shit as well. I just don't know why, so I can't stop being a transphobic shit. What's gonna happen, right? What's gonna happen to all these transphobic people, to all these racist people, right? I had the problem of not knowing that I was apparently transphobic when I made the life raft. But I want to apologize.
It's almost a relief to feel like I'm part of the problem as a cis white male condemned as transphobic and misogynistic, while the alt-right obsessive. They blocked you from the new group and they decided that you were a transphobic Hitler person, and then when I have been apparently transphobic, when I have, well, let's face it, kind of writing about fucking a protagonist honestly.
I have pissed off bigots, racists, sexists. I've pissed off the transphobic. I have pissed off American Trump, who too is biased in favor of trans people, and if you do not like that, you're transphobic. And you know what? That's okay. They can have that. They can have that.
Yes and no. Can you get a transphobic feminist? Yes and no. Can you get a radical feminist who wants to see the...
In those doors, I'm gonna be bullied. Because I'm transphobic, aren't I? I deserve it, don't I? And maybe I do, I don't know.
And then you get slips. Then you get the occasional transphobic comment. The occasional homophobic comment.
That sort of gay people can be transphobic. And I suppose in a less serious sort of way that they think I'm transphobic. And the kind of it was very odd in that kind of...
The men are generally a bunch of, you know, slightly transphobic dickheads anyway. And again, it's hate them, misogynists hate them, transphobic people hate them, and lawmakers are discriminating against them. They can't even go to the loo in public.
It's like, did you just delete a post where you were accused of being transphobic? And I'm like, no, hell no, hell no, no.
Someone who realizes, oh shit, you made a mistake. That's it. You can't defend a transphobic person. The fucking moron. Everybody, all the transphobics, you want to subscribe to Alex on Jahans, and I'm just gonna be like, fuck. I was basically being fucking transphobic, and
that I was transphobic, and the fact that I had been blocked from this other group. Well, when I
a story I wrote that was transphobic, and to essentially come to terms with the writing that I had
went to bed. And I was freaking out thinking, people are going to call me transphobic, people are going to call me transphobic. But I had to sleep. Stated as evidence for why I'm a transphobic piece of shit was this conversation that was had in the life raft of the damned.
And the transphobic trolls presume and assume, oh, that means you're a transgenderist, you're a woman!
And someone I respect just basically went, boom, you're a transphobic asshole, and walked off. And so I was quite wrong.